7 things most people take a lifetime to learn. Life is a strange thing, isn't it? We move through it day by day, often unaware of the deeper truths that surround us. We chase after success, we battle our inner demons, and we try to make sense of a world that is constantly shifting. Sometimes it feels like we're just drifting along, reacting to the things that happen to us, rather than taking control of the course we want to steer. And yet, there are moments, brief moments, when the fog clears and we see something. Something that has been there all along, but we were too caught up to notice. What if I told you that there are lessons in life? Lessons that are so simple, yet so profound, that most people don't truly learn them until the end of their lives. And by the time they do, it's often too late to make a difference. These aren't the lessons you find in a textbook. They aren't the ones your parents teach you, or the ones you learn from watching movies. No, these lessons come from living, from experiencing pain, joy, loss, and triumph. They are the kinds of lessons that reshape the way you see the world. Today, I want to share with you 7 lessons, 7 truths that most people take a lifetime to learn. These lessons might feel like they're reserved for the wise, the elderly, or the ones who have walked through fire. But I'm here to tell you that they are within your reach right now. You don't have to wait until life has worn you down, or life has handed you too much hardship to finally understand them. These are lessons that can transform the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. They can lead you to peace, to clarity, to purpose. They will show you that the real struggle isn't with the world, but within yourself. I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes and allow yourself to be open to the possibility that, by the end of this, your life could look a little bit different. Maybe it will be a shift in perspective. Maybe it will be a moment of clarity. Or maybe, just maybe, it will be the beginning of a new chapter in your journey. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's dive into these 7 life-changing lessons. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1. One feeling sad after making a decision doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. Life is full of decisions. Some are easy, like choosing what to have for dinner, while others are monumental. Decisions that will shape our lives in ways we can't always predict. But here's the thing that many of us fail to realize. Sometimes, after making a decision, we feel sadness, regret, or even doubt. And in those moments, we often assume that those emotions mean we made the wrong choice. But here's the truth. Feeling sad after a decision doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. In fact, sadness is often a natural byproduct of change, and change is an essential part of growth. When you decide to do something new, especially something that pushes you out of your comfort zone, the emotions that follow can be a mix of excitement, fear, and yes, sadness. This is especially true when you let go of something familiar, even if what you're moving towards is better for you in the long run. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, often wrote about how we should train ourselves to accept what happens as part of the natural order. He said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What this means is that even when we face discomfort or sadness after a decision, it isn't a signal that we've done something wrong. It's a sign that we're growing, we're evolving, and we're moving forward. But let's be real, it's hard. In those moments of doubt, it's easy to second-guess ourselves. We start thinking, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have chosen differently. But don't let that moment of sadness cloud your judgment. The fact that you feel something doesn't invalidate the choice you made. It only shows that you're human that you're alive, and that you care about your decisions. That's a good thing. That's a sign of self-awareness. The key is this: don't allow your feelings to make your decisions for you. Acknowledge the sadness, but don't let it become the voice that dictates your future. Trust yourself, trust the process, and understand that sadness is just a moment, not a permanent state. Sometimes it's the price we pay for growth. Number 2, self-awareness is the realization that there is no opponent. It's you versus you. If you're like most people, you probably spend a lot of time thinking about your competition. Whether it's your colleagues, your friends, or even strangers on social media, there's a constant comparison game happening in the background of your mind. You measure yourself against others, judging whether you're doing enough, achieving enough, or becoming enough. But let me share something with you that might shift your entire perspective. There is no opponent. The real battle is always within you. The truth is, self-awareness is the recognition that the biggest challenge you'll ever face is not the world outside, but the world inside. Your thoughts, your fears, your habits, and your beliefs. It's not you versus your competition, not you versus your circumstances, but you versus yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is Stoicism at its finest. The idea that when we face difficulties, both external and internal, those very obstacles are opportunities to grow. But the obstacles we face in the outside world are nothing compared to the ones that reside within. When you can embrace this reality, that the only opponent you'll ever face is yourself, you stop wasting energy on competing with others. You stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, comparing your progress to everyone else's, and you focus solely on your own personal growth. You ask yourself, who was I yesterday? How can I be better today? This is the essence of Stoic thinking, self-improvement without comparison to others. Think about it for a second. If you constantly compare yourself to someone else, you'll always be measuring yourself by a different yardstick. Your journey will never be aligned with your own goals and values. But if you focus on being a better version of yourself, just a little bit better than you were yesterday, you have control. You create your own path. You stop measuring yourself against the wrong things and start measuring yourself against your potential. Self-awareness, then, is about recognizing that you're not fighting against other people, against external circumstances, or even against time itself. You're fighting against your own limitations, your own fears, and your own doubts. You're striving to break free from the chains you've created, to move past the comfort zones that hold you back, and to become the person you are truly capable of being. So, here's the challenge. Stop looking around at what others are doing. Stop wondering how you measure up. Instead, look inward. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not in comparison to anyone else, but in comparison to the person you were yesterday. Remember, this journey is yours alone. The only opponent you'll ever face is the one in the mirror. And if you can conquer that opponent, everything else will fall into place. Number 3. Sometimes saying goodbye doesn't mean you don't love something. It just means you love yourself too. One of the hardest things we'll ever face in life is letting go. Whether it's a relationship, a job, a place, or a way of life that we've known for years, saying goodbye can feel like an act of betrayal. We convince ourselves that if we truly loved something, if we truly valued it, we wouldn't leave it behind. We wouldn't let go. But here's a truth that might make all the difference. Sometimes saying goodbye doesn't mean you don't love something. It just means you love yourself too. The Stoic philosophers, especially Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, taught that attachment to anything outside of yourself can lead to suffering. When we tie our happiness to something external, whether that's a person, an object, or an experience, we give away our power. We become slaves to that thing. And the moment it's taken from us, we feel as though a part of us has been lost. But true strength comes not from attachment, but from the ability to let go when necessary. This doesn't mean you don't love what you're letting go of. It means you love yourself enough to recognize that staying attached to something that no longer serves you is harmful. It's an act of self-respect and self-preservation. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflected on the nature of change and impermanence. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Nothing stays the same forever. People change. Situations change. Our priorities change. And when we love ourselves, we give ourselves the freedom to change along with the world, even if it means parting ways with something that was once important. Think about it. How many times have you held on to something out of fear? Fear of losing something you loved. Fear of the unknown. Fear of feeling lonely or empty. But the reality is, letting go frees you. It opens space for new opportunities, new growth, and new relationships that align with the person you are becoming. Saying goodbye, therefore, is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It's a declaration of self-love, that you are worthy of happiness, peace, and growth. And sometimes that means releasing what no longer serves your well-being. It's about understanding that sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. Number 4. The lesson you struggle with will repeat itself until you learn from it. If you've ever found yourself stuck in a recurring pattern, whether it's a bad habit, a difficult relationship dynamic, or a personal challenge you can't seem to overcome, you know how frustrating it can be. You try everything you can think of to change, but no matter what you do, the same problems seem to pop up again and again. It's like life is giving you the same test over and over, and you just can't seem to pass it. But here's a powerful truth. The lesson you struggle with will repeat itself until you learn from it. This idea is central to Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, who faced immense challenges as emperor, often reflected on the idea that adversity is a teacher. In his Meditations, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What he's saying is that the obstacles we face, whether internal or external, are opportunities for growth. They are lessons, and if we don't learn them the first time, life will present them again until we do. Think about a time when you found yourself repeating the same mistakes. Maybe it was a toxic relationship. Maybe it was a career decision that didn't work out. Perhaps it was a cycle of self-doubt that kept you from taking action. In each case, the situation was different, but the core lesson, the lesson that life was trying to teach you, remained the same. It's only when you recognize the lesson and make a conscious effort to change that you'll break the cycle. The struggle is never without purpose. Every hardship, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to learn. It's the universe, or life itself, pushing you towards self-awareness and personal growth. The key is to stop resisting the lesson, to stop seeing your struggles as mere obstacles, and to start viewing them as invitations to become better. This might sound daunting, but it's actually liberating. When you embrace the idea that each challenge has a lesson, you take control. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming an active participant in your own growth. You learn to recognize patterns, to reflect on your choices, and to make better decisions moving forward. The truth is, you don't have to keep facing the same struggles over and over again. The moment you learn from your past, the lesson stops repeating itself. You break free. And the more you learn, the more you grow. You move from one stage of life to the next, each stage better than the last, because you've taken the time to reflect, to learn, and to evolve. So take a step back and ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me right now? What lesson am I avoiding, and how can I embrace it instead of resisting it? When you can answer that, you'll start to see that the struggles aren't just obstacles. They are stepping stones to something greater. Number 5. If you keep one hand on your past and one hand on your future, you'll never have either. There's something truly freeing about the present moment. Yet so many of us find ourselves living either in the past or the future, perpetually torn between the two. We constantly reflect on past mistakes or past triumphs, and we anxiously worry about the future, what it holds, what might go wrong, and what we need to do to prepare for it. But here's the reality that most people don't realize. If you keep one hand on your past and one hand on your future, you'll never have either. What does that mean? It means that you can't truly move forward in life if you're still holding on to things that have already happened or obsessing over things that haven't even occurred yet. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were keenly aware of the dangers of living in the past or the future. In his meditations, he often reminded himself that what lies behind and what lies ahead are beyond our control. The only thing that we have true command over is the present moment. The past is a collection of memories and experiences that we cannot change. Yes, it has shaped who we are, but dwelling on it, especially on regrets or mistakes, robs us of the energy we could use to build our future. It's like trying to drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You can't move forward that way. Similarly, worrying about the future is equally unproductive. The future is unknown, uncertain, and uncontrollable. While planning for it is necessary, obsessing over it creates anxiety and prevents you from fully living today. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You are immortal. Life is short." The things you want are fleeting, and the time you have is passing. So, how do we stop living in the past and the future? The answer is simple but profound. We need to let go and embrace the present. Living fully in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or the future altogether. It simply means understanding that both are beyond your control and focusing on what you can control, your actions in this moment. By focusing on today, on your decisions, your thoughts, and your actions right now, you begin to take ownership of your life. You'll find that when you stop worrying about what you cannot change, you gain the freedom to act with clarity, intention, and purpose. The Stoic practice of mindfulness can help you stay grounded in the present. Every time your mind drifts to past regrets or future anxieties, gently bring it back to the here and now. Take a deep breath. Focus on the task at hand. You are not bound by what has happened or what may come. You are free to choose how you live this moment. When you stop living in the past or future, you give yourself the gift of now, and that's where your true power lies. Number 6. You never know how valuable your health is until you are fighting for it, so fight for it now before you have to. There's a saying that goes, "You don't know what you have until it's gone." And while it's true in many aspects of life, it's never truer than when it comes to health. We often take our bodies for granted, pushing ourselves to the limits, ignoring warning signs, and neglecting the very thing that allows us to live fully. But here's the hard truth that we all must face. You never know how valuable your health is until you are fighting for it, so fight for it now, before you have to. The Stoics understood the fragility of life and the body. Marcus Aurelius in particular often reflected on the impermanence of health, noting that the body is just a vessel, a temporary one. Yet he also acknowledged that the mind and body are interconnected, and in order to live a virtuous life, one must care for both. Good health isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about maintaining the strength and vitality to pursue a meaningful life. Unfortunately, it's easy to ignore our health when we're young, or when everything feels fine. We tell ourselves, "I'll rest when I'm older," or "I have time to work on my health later." But the truth is, the time to take care of your health is always now. The body doesn't wait for you to change your habits once you're already dealing with a major health issue. By the time you realize how much you need your health, it could be too late. So how do we avoid this fate? Fight for your health now, while you still have the energy, strength, and time. This means prioritizing your physical and mental well-being today, not tomorrow. It means eating nutritious food, moving your body regularly, getting enough sleep, and making time for relaxation and mental health care. It means recognizing that a healthy body is essential not just for surviving, but for thriving. It's not just about avoiding sickness. It's about building a foundation of well-being that allows you to fully engage in life, to pursue your passions, to take care of your loved ones, and to continue growing as a person. Your health is your most precious asset. Without it, everything else becomes secondary. One of the most important things you can do is listen to your body. Take the time to rest when needed, exercise when possible, and nourish yourself with the right foods. Don't wait until a crisis comes. Start now, with small, intentional actions that prioritize your well-being. Remember, health is not something you can take for granted. It is a gift that must be cultivated, and it's up to you to take charge of it. Don't wait until you're in a fight for your health to realize its value. Protect it, nurture it, and use it as the foundation upon which you can build your life. The greatest wealth is health, and the time to start preserving it is now. Number 7. Your journey starts and ends entirely in your mind. No matter where you end up, you won't enjoy any of it if you get them at the expense of your mental health. We often think that success, wealth, fame, or achievement will bring us happiness. We chase after these external markers of success, believing that once we make it, everything will fall into place. But here's the reality. Your journey starts and ends entirely in your mind. No matter where you end up, you won't enjoy any of it if you get there at the expense of your mental health. The Stoics were acutely aware of the importance of inner peace and mental fortitude. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful emperors in history, understood that external power meant little if the mind was not at peace. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a powerful reminder that no matter how successful you become, no matter how many accolades you achieve, none of it will matter if you aren't mentally sound. Mental health is the foundation of everything else. Without it, wealth, fame, and accomplishments become hollow. It's easy to become consumed with ambition and the pursuit of success. But you must always ask yourself, at what cost? Is your peace of mind worth sacrificing in the pursuit of external rewards? In Stoicism, we are taught to value the health of our mind just as much as the health of our body. The mind is what drives us to make decisions, to take actions, and to navigate life's challenges. If the mind is troubled, confused, or distressed, everything you build in life will feel like a struggle, not a joy. The mental strain from constantly striving without mental care can erode the very essence of life's meaning. Think about it. How many people do you know who have made it, only to find that their success doesn't bring them peace? They may have all the material wealth, all the fame, and all the accolades in the world, but they're still searching for something, still feeling empty, still battling anxiety, stress, or a lack of fulfillment. This is why mental health must always be a priority. It's the lens through which you experience life. Here's the lesson. Success that sacrifices mental well-being is not true success. Success is only meaningful when you can enjoy it with clarity, peace, and purpose. This means prioritizing practices that nurture your mind. Meditation, reflection, deep breathing, and taking time to rest and recharge. You don't need to reach the top of the ladder to find peace. You need to find peace first, and then everything else will follow. When your mind is clear and your mental health is nurtured, you'll find joy in the journey, not just the destination. Conclusion. These 7 lessons are not easy to learn. They are truths that most people take a lifetime to fully understand. But you don't have to wait that long. By embracing these principles, recognizing that sadness doesn't equal wrongness, understanding that your greatest opponent is yourself, letting go with love, learning from your struggles, focusing on the present, protecting your health, and nurturing your mental well-being, you set yourself on a path of growth, fulfillment, and peace. Remember, this journey is yours to walk. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing or how the world expects you to live. What matters is that you are living authentically according to your own values and constantly learning along the way. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about avoiding mistakes, it's about growing from them. By focusing on the things that truly matter, your mind, your health, and your personal growth, you can transform your life from one of endless striving to one of deep satisfaction and meaning. You can stop comparing yourself to others and start comparing yourself only to the person you were yesterday. You can learn to embrace life's challenges, knowing that each one is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. This is your life, your journey, and it starts now. Take a moment to reflect on these lessons, and then take action. The only time you have is right now. Make it count. If you've made it this far, I want to commend you for being part of the 0.01% who are willing to stick with this journey of self-improvement and growth. If you're ready to make a change and live a life that's truly fulfilling, join our movement. Follow, reflect, and act on what you've learned today. Because true change starts with you. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now go out there and make today the day you begin your path to a better you.